I just finally, because I was tired of seeing the title, something along the lines of, billionaires making people rich.
Yeah.
I finally clicked on it. So I thought to myself, if I click on it, this will go away. Well, bro, I was captured. One of the first things I heard him say was, it might have even been during the intro or the interlude to the interview, but he said something along the lines of, oh yeah, really nonchalantly, went up 1,000,000%, 10,000x. And I was like, hang on, 10,000x? So like $1 turns into $10,000, and I rewound it. And that's what he said. So I watched the whole thing, but it captured me. And during that interview, I thought to myself, this guy knows what he's talking about. This guy is legit. I like this guy. So I'm going to learn a lot more about him. I believed him right from the start. And then you start discovering all the hate that he was getting, which you can see through. A lot of that's just, tactics, people trying to dissuade others from paying too much attention to him, or people trying to steal his attention, or, belittle him. Maybe it's jealousy, whatever it might be. Everybody has their own motives.
Those people saw all of his other interviews.
Those people saw all his other interviews.
Yeah. I'm glad you saw that one. Like I tell people,
too.
if I would have seen him, in the other interviews, before, let's see, I mean, I've been watching him since 2017. So I've seen the evolution. I understand, why he does the fashion shows and watches all the stuff today. But I always tell people, if I would have found Richard in 2022 or even late 2021, I don't know if it was stuck with me.
I agree.
I was really looking for a mentor at that time. And for you, I mean, that's one of the best interviews. I think that one and the one with Valuetainment he did recently. That one.
That was great. Yeah.
I would pause it and just watch it every day. I'd watch like a few minutes of it because it was just so good. And like,
it's inspiring.
Yeah, it's nice.
We need those little motivational bits to power through the day every day. I get it.
Yeah. So that's what hooked you on that. Like you just felt like that power of not only he's saying, hey, you're looking for something. He's telling you, hey, I got something for it. You saw the power in the message and like the positivity.
Yes. I can't even say I was looking for it. It just reached out and grabbed me. I didn't grab it. And it wasn't even Hex that first got me. The 10,000X got me, but he spent a lot of that interview talking about, his experiences, his past, some of which I can relate to, but he kept talking about this pulse thing. Like, what is pulse? And so I started researching that. And then I discovered PulseX. And I'm like, well, what's this sacrifice thing? That doesn't make sense. And it was like day 13 or something of the sacrifice. And so, I didn't get the best rate, but once I figured it all out, I definitely sacrificed. So I got a rate, and I'm happy about that. I didn't sacrifice nearly as much as I wanted to because the exchanges wouldn't, release my funds in time. I didn't know how to deal with that. I didn't know anything about anything. I could barely even pronounce MetaMask. I didn't know what that was. This was all in January.
How long before were you in? Did you know much about crypto before the sacrifice?
No, very, very little.
You just saw this video and you thought, wow, this is my shot.
Yes.
I like this guy. I believe what he's saying. And then you just found PulseX and you're like, cool, sacrifice. I give them money and I'll probably get something back. And then
hopefully I do.
I need to do this. Like, is that how it works?
Have you seen those movies? This is the answer. Have you seen those movies, those satirical movies where a guy or the subject does or says or realizes something, and then all of a sudden you see a shot of them from above and there's a light shining down and they're like, and they get it.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's kind of like what that was for me. It's not like they, I wasn't looking for that. I really wasn't looking for anything. I was just trying to heal from COVID or from, dude, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that word. I was trying to heal from the C word. And, I just kind of had one of those moments where I didn't really understand it. But sometimes intellect is very important, or attention maybe is a better term. You have to pay attention and you have to be aware of things. But sometimes intuition is even more important in life. And that was one of those moments for me. Intuition was screaming at me, do this, do with whatever you can. And so I did. And it was only after that I learned about, PulseChain. And then a few weeks into that, I started learning a lot about Hex. And that just captured me, man. And I dove deep into that. And I studied it as much as I could. And, I got it. And I'm like, oh man, well, all these funds that I couldn't get into the sacrifice because by the time I got them in my hands, the rate wasn't worth it. Although
Mhm.
looking back now, it probably would have been worth it, but I didn't know it at the time. I was like, I'm just going to buy hex with it. So I just bought a bunch of hex. And initially I bought like around, I think my first buy was 18 cents. And then I bought at 21. And then all the way down to where we are now. I've just been DCAing the whole time, you know, and staking a lot of it, staking the overwhelming majority of it. You know, and now I've learned a lot more about staking, and instead of just staking, I'm putting together strategies, you know. So, but
that's a powerful story. That's something I couldn't even imagine that an interview, even one of his best interviews, could reach someone who doesn't know, you know, at the time didn't know much about crypto, had never heard of the products before, but it compelled you so much to go search and then just believe it. You know, what a sacrifice, and you just like all these hurdles you just instantly got through. I just can't believe that. This is an unbelievable story. Like,
never,
and you can't be the only one. There's got to be more people that happen to with that message too.
And never underestimate the power of the spoken word, and never underestimate the power of intuition. Not even our intuition, the intuition of those that might be watching that interview by accident, like I was.